Good afternoon and welcome to the Media News on Voice of the People TV. I am Fina Okechukwu. The headlines. FG kicks as Pat Utomi forms shadow government. NAPS issues Nel phone 5-day ultimatum over loan details. SEC warns against new Ponzi scheme, P1. Board links Mwigwe's helicopter crash to pilot disorientation, company's negligence. Senate condemns a dome-up killings. Lagos Assembly urges security agencies to tackle road miscreants. In business, Naira continues free fall against the dollar. In sports, Coach Zuberi wants Flying Eagles not to underrate Kenya. And in the world of entertainment, Iyabojo confirms EFCC interrogation after her daughter's wedding. Now the news and details. Renowned economist and political activist Professor Pat Utomi has inaugurated a shadow government composed of members from various opposition parties. Utomi explained that the Big Tent coalition shadow government launched virtually will function as a credible opposition force, highlighting the failure of the Bola Tinubu administration while offering ideas for better governance. But in a quick reaction, the federal government kicked against the move, describing it as an anomaly in a federal system of government. Speaking in an interview, the Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, said, Nigeria is not a parliamentary system of government where such a system is practiced, and there is no provision for such in the Constitution. Idris stressed that while opposition politics is a central feature of democracy, it must be practiced at all times within the bounds of priority and propriety. Utomi, however, justified the move, urging that policy missteps by the current federal government had worsened poverty, driven multinational companies out of the country, and intensified terrorism in Benue and Plateau states, along rising insecurity and corruption nationwide. Away from that report, the National Association of Polytechnic Students has issued a 5-day ultimatum to the Nigerian Education Loan Fund Board to provide a detailed breakdown of fund disbursement. The student loan scheme has come under intense scrutiny following allegations by the National Orientation Agency that some institutions, in collaboration with banks, have been making fraudulent deductions from student loan disbursements. Last week, the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission said its preliminary probe revealed that while Nel Fund had released 100 Naira as student loan, while the sum of 71 billion Naira is accounted for. These allegations triggered a wave of outrage, culminating in a protest by members of the National Association of Nigerian Students who blocked the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. In a communique which was issued today and signed by the President, Chief Ofune Orayan, and Senate President Oyewumi Ayomide NAPS, said it would mobilize protests nationwide should the Nel Fund fail to reveal breakdown on how polytechnics receive funds. The association further threatens to take action should their demands not be met. Away from that report, the Security and Exchange Commission (SEC) has alerted the public on the activities of Property World Africa Network, which holds itself out as a real estate investment company and solicits funds from the public for investment purposes through P1 marks. SEC said in a statement that P1 and P1 marks are not registered either to solicit investments from the public or operate in any other capacity within the Nigerian capital market. The Commission said investigations revealed that P1's operations exhibit the typical indicators of a fraudulent Ponzi scheme, including the promise of unusually high returns and failure to honor withdrawal requests from subscribers. SEC also urged potential investors of the need to verify the registration status of investment and its platform via the Commission's dedicated portal investigation report. In another development, the U.S. National Transportation Safety Board has concluded its investigation into the helicopter crash that killed Herbert Wigwe and his family last year. In the final aviation investigation report, the NTSB said the probable cause of the crash was a pilot's decision to continue the flight under visual flight rules into instrument meteorological conditions. Recall that on February 9, 2024, Wigwe, the former Group Chief Executive Officer of Axis Holdings PLC, died in a helicopter crash alongside his wife, Doreen, their first son, Chizi, and Abimbola Ogobanjo, the former Group Chairman of Nigerian Exchange Group PLC. The crash, which occurred in California near the Nevada border, claimed the lives of all 6 passengers on board. Over a year after the incident, the NTSB report revealed that the pilot likely experienced septial disorientation while maneuvering the helicopter, which led to his loss of helicopter control and the resulting collision with terrain. The report added that the helicopter company's inadequate oversight of its safety management processes was a contributing cause to the crash. The NTSB found that the company failed to ensure that pilots accurately completed and updated the flight risk analysis, lodged maintenance discrepancies, and adhered to regulation before departure. The investigation report revealed that during the return flight, the pilot had texted the director of maintenance about an issue with the radar altimeter. In the National Assembly, the Senate has condemned the killing of 16 travelers in Utomi, Edo State, describing the incident as gross violation of human rights and a threat to national unity. Raising a motion during the plenary, Suleiman Kawu, the senator representing Kano South, said the killing were unjustified and posed a danger to Nigeria's fragile security structure. Barau Jibrin, the deputy Senate president, criticized the action of the vigilantes, saying they should have handed the travelers to law enforcement for proper investigation. The deputy Senate president, who seconded the motion, condemned Monday Obebelo, Monday Obebelo, governor of Edo State, for working with the police and all the security agencies to apprehend those who committed the crime. He claimed the victims were traditional and professional hunters who go from place to place to hunt. Still in the Red Chamber, the Senate has announced a minor reshuffle of its standing committees. Senate President Godswill Akpabio said the changes are part of effort to improve legislative productivity. He also directed Mayemi Bamidele, Senate leader, to ensure all committees submit activity reports for deliberation on the Senate floor. Simon Lalong, the senator representing Plateau South, has been named chairman of the committee on the Independent National Electoral Commission and Electoral Matters. Lalong replaces Sharafuddin Ali, senator representing Oyo South Senatorial District, who has chaired the committee since the inauguration of his 10th National Assembly. Ali has been reassigned as chairman of the Committee on Agricultural Institution and Research, a role previously held by Lalong. Anthony Ani, senator representing Ebonyi South, will no longer serve as chairman of the Committee on Tourism. Pam Wakdonk, senator representing Plateau North, will now chair the Tourism Committee. Eze Kenneth Emeka, senator representing Ebonyi Central, has been removed as the vice chairman of the Committee on the South East Development Commission. That position has been given to Ani. This report says that Senator Ireti Kingigbe has stirred controversy with her recent remarks criticizing Nigerian youth for being complacent and unengaged. Her comments have triggered widespread reactions, prompting a national conversation on leadership responsibility and the role of young people in shaping the country's future. VOP TV's Matthew Ogoswada followed up on this development and brings us the details.
Senator Ireti Kingibe, representing the FCT, has criticized Nigerians, particularly the youth, for what she describes as a lack of constructive engagement with leadership. Speaking to journalists, Kingibe accused young Nigerians of complacency, saying that they often grumble and insult leaders instead of taking meaningful action, while noting that many issue empty strike threats without presenting a clear agenda or program. According to her, the youth must take ownership of the country and actively participate in shaping its future. She also pointed out that many citizens have failed to make a concerted effort to hold leaders accountable, focusing instead on personal interests. However, her comments have sparked mixed reactions across the country. As Voice of the People TV, we are on the street to get the views of everyday Nigerians on this growing conversation.
They can come out with their protest, but not riot. There's a difference between riot and protest. In most cases, what you see Nigerian youth do is they go on riot. You see, anywhere in the world, there is protest. When government, even in your private house, you can protest. You understand what I'm talking about? When somebody does something that you are not in conformity with your own principle, you try to voice out your own opinion. So that's what's happening. Anywhere in the world, there is protest. So I don't see anything bad in Nigerian youth protesting.
I think education is one of the best. But if it doesn't work out that way, learn something. All this habit of I don't want to do this, I don't want to do that. Is that you go to school or you learn any skillful work, so that when everybody have something doing, it's different for roaming about the streets, doing this, taking drug up and down.
Nigeria youth need to we need to talk to our leaders about the situation of the country, because Nigeria is the blessed country. So we are the youth, we are the leaders of tomorrow. So our leaders needs to hear our voice. You understand? Because the situation of the country is going down. We are all trying our best, but them, they are enjoying. They don't know what is happening to the youth.
A lot of people, we have a potential, but the bottom line is that we are also lazy. If you see a youth of Nigeria, some of them is still sitting at home looking for, okay, my brother, please, area sir, how far, my brother, give me something to eat. Whereas, let me tell you, if a Nigeria, let me say from 16 years to 30 years or 35 years, if someone misuse that age, for that person to become a somebody is going to be hard.
Senator Ireti's comment has sparked mixed reactions, with many Nigerians urging the youth and the leaders to take responsibility and embrace mutual accountability in order to move the nation forward. In Lagos, for Voice of the People TV, Matthew Oguswada.
Thank you so much, Matthew Oguswada, for that wonderful coverage. Away from that report, following increasing threats posed by miscreants on roads, the Lagos State House of Assembly has called on the Commissioner of Police, Moshood Jimo, and the State's Neighborhood Watch to intensify surveillance effort to safeguard road users. The call was made during plenary session when Sani Okonlawon raised the issue on the matter of urgent public importance. He described the growing menace of miscreants who harass commuters, snatch belongings, and create fear across major roads in the state. Supporting the motion, Kehinde Joseph confirmed that the presence of miscreants has become widespread, emphasizing the need for security agencies to step up their patrol and surveillance. Desmond Elliott added that critical black spots across Lagos must be closely monitored, urging the National Drug Law Enforcement Agencies to collaborate with other security outfits in addressing the issue. Also speaking, Aro Moshood highlighted how some miscreants pose as helpers during vehicle breakdown, only to turn around and extort or harass drivers. Other lawmakers unanimously agree on the need for heightened security measures to protect residents and commuters. Consequently, the House resolved to call on the Commissioner of Police and Neighborhood Watch to strengthen the operations and curb the activities of miscreants in Lagos. Still on the news, the Nigerian chapter of the International Press Institute says the Department of State Security has delisted Lare Arogundede, the executive director of the International Press Center, for its watch list. Musikilu Mujid, president of IPI in Nigeria, announced the development at the third Nigerian Media Leaders Summit convened by Journalism Clinic in Ogun State. Mojid said Aragundade's name was removed after about 40 years due to a sustained and intensive campaign by the IPI in Nigeria. He noted that the development was communicated to IPI Nigeria by Adola Ajayi, Director General of the DSS, at a recent engagement with the service. Aragundade's name was added to the DSS watch list during the Muhammad Buhari-led military regime when he served as the president of the National Association of Nigeria Students between 1984 and 1985. It's time for the news analysis, and joining us this afternoon to help make sense of this story is VOPV TV in-house analyst Barrister Darlington Agomo. Good afternoon, Barrister Darlington.
Good afternoon, Finan. How are you?
I'm good. Good to have you join today's media news.
My pleasure.
All right. Interestingly, the first one I would like us to start off today with is a story about miscreants. You know, here we learned from the Lagos State House of Assembly that they should summon, or they have summoned the Commissioner of Police and also the person in charge of the Neighborhood Watch for them to help look into the activities of miscreants in Lagos. I could recall I was having a conversation with someone and I said the first thing I learned in Lagos was Owomida. The first thing I learned stepping into this busy, bustling city, I was asking, what does that mean? How come from here to here, you know, get to hear such statement and the way these people are asking for this money, they're not negotiating. It's more like, you know, have to give it to me now or else something else can happen. Now, do you think that this call in any way is going to yield any fruit, as the case may be?
Yeah, it may. It depends on the will of the government. Because this is not something that is happening just yesterday. It has been there. You know, all these people they call miscreants, they are the same agberos, area boy or monile, you know, that they use during election. So it all depends on the political will, if they can do it. Because I've told them several that, look, these guys, they gravitate from one notorious group to the other. And the central thing is that they eat by violence.
But now that members of the State House now are beginning to chime into this, beginning to call, you know, for proper collaboration between security operatives for them to know how to mitigate or how to curtail the activities of this. Because from what we're seeing now, residents are no longer safe. Commuters also are targets. You know, imagine one of the honorable then in the House talking about how these people will disguise themselves to be helpers. But, you know, before you know what is happening, they will switch turn over to attack the driver of a vehicle, especially when you have a broken down vehicle incident. So you think something good is not going to come out of it. You think there will not be political will. Now that them too are also talking about, you know, the activities of those people.
They just said it, they didn't mean it, though. As long as it's Lagos State. Those boys, they are their own government, though. This is not the first time, this is not the second. In fact, if you begin, you would have lost count. If you begin to count how many times this type of thing have been said, at the end of the day, nothing came out of it. So I don't think it will hold sway because the political will is not there. You know, these guys, they represent something for somebody or for some people. And those people are in government, so they wouldn't want them to be driven out like that. That's the way I look at it.
All right,
they are representing something in Lagos State, and I know that, and you know that.
So you think they're being empowered by some persons? You think that's a way, you know? I mean, because if you say they are representing something in Lagos State, now I want to ask, you know, then why would the State of Assembly come up to talk about them and make mention of them and the activities?
Yeah, they just said, I said, this is not the first, second, or third time they are saying it. At the end of it, now, what came out of it? They can make statements and issue threats for all I care. The thing is that they can't remove them from the streets. That's the truth. There's nothing we have not said about this guy, yet they are still there. So it's not enough to make statements. Do something about it. If you are really serious, make a law against them that if you are caught, you'll be thrown to jail, and then you follow it up. These agbero that are collecting Owomida here and there, Are they not aware of what they are doing? Are they not aware? You said the first this language or the first word you had when you came to the was Owomida. You didn't know that was my money, as if they gave you money to keep for them. Were you not shocked when you had such a thing? Owomida, that's my money. Where is my money? Where is my money? That means whatever you are doing, whatever you are eating, keep their own money for them. That's the meaning. That is the money that you're supposed to give me. Where is it? Owomida.
All right, Barrister. Now, away from that, we also learned that the International Press Institute, have come up to, well, let's say, address an issue which has been there since 1984 upwards to 1985. We're talking about 40 years gap here, and the Nigerian has been on the watch list of the DSS just because this particular person was a president of NANS during a military rule. Now, do you think this is more like, should we applaud DSS at this point in time, over 40 years, to wake up to say we are delisting the name of Arugundande, from our watch list because of how, or the activities, or what he played, the role he played during the military rule in 1984 to 85?
Well, those things are just, in fact, they don't have anything to do. What kind of watch list are the people that we are talking of now? You are talking of 40 years ago. Why not start from the people that are disturbing us now? Put them on the watch list. You have them all over the place, from politicians to their supporters to terrorists. How many of them are on their watch list? So I should clap for them now, Abi.
What does it really mean, for someone to be on a watch list of the DSS? And what do you think, should be the crime someone must have committed for him or her to be placed on a watch list?
That is, if they feel that you are a security risk, they'll be monitoring you. That's just the simple way to describe it. When you're on the watch list, that means you are being monitored, because they consider you a security risk. In their own language and all that, they know what constitutes a security risk. And they know those they classify as being on security watch, on the watch list. To them, or anybody that does not align with the ruling government, you're a security risk.
Bring it back to what is happening now in Nigeria, Barrister Darlington. Yes. Some persons have come up to talk about how, we're having some acts, for example, the Cybercrime Act and all that, and there's some persons are saying that that's a way to cramp down more on decent voices. So now, with what happened in 1984 and 85, are we seeing a replication of that also coming down at this point in time? Have we seen more Nigerians being placed on watch lists? And how does that now speak about, before then it was a military rule, now we're having democratic rule and all that. How does that now speak about democracy?
Even as we speak, people's phone numbers are being tapped and all that. People are still being people are still on their watch list as we talk, as we speak. So it is nothing strange to me, because that what happens when you have a bad government that is opposed to opposition. A government that does not want to see any opposition, that's what they do. They start monitoring every cockroach and every mosquito that fly past. They will tell their honchos to follow them and monitor what they are doing. So you see even worse than the military regime. You can see what they are doing to only opposition and all that.
Barrister, interestingly, you took us to that point where we have to start talking about what the federal government, describing the move by Professor Utomi, as an anomaly in this particular system of government. They say that him creating or moving forward or going ahead to form a shadow government is against the presidential system of government. And just yesterday, we also heard from a particular appointee on this present administration saying that anybody who come up to talk about or who come up to downgrade or talk down or talk bad about this present administration and its policy, that the person is either deaf, dumb, or blind. Help us walk through or around all this.
You see, when government want to be clever by half, they will refer to the constitution. What part Utomi is doing, that erudite professor, is the right thing. Is the right thing. opposition can be in any form. It doesn't have to be in a parliamentary system. The intention is what you should be looking at. Is it not the government that said that they welcome constructive criticism? And that is what the man is trying to put up.
Does it look like the welcome search? Because from the reports we've been getting, first was from IMF, then we have World Bank reports again on data, then we have that of UNICEF. As the case may be, Nigeria now tops. We have the highest number of malnourished children, and okay, second in the world, first in Africa. Now, you know, when you look at all this data and all this report that's being chalked out by all these organizations that we know we run to for fun, we run to them for loan and all that. Now, does it really look like that they are, you know, welcoming criticism, constructive one, or oppositions with their own ideas? The likes of Peter Obi also have been accused multiple times of finding a way to run down this administration. And, you know, some Nigerians have been coming up to talk about the recent happening in the nation, the economic hardship, the insecurity bedeviling in the nation and all that. Most times they tag them, you know, working against the government.
I mean, it's obvious that they don't welcome opposition. We don't need to over debate it. Tinubu's administration does not welcome opposition. And that's why whenever you criticize them, you come under a serious attack. If not than Buala, it will be Bayo Nonoga, another spokesperson for this administration.
Isn't it interesting that the people who are coming up at this point in time, Barrister, to defend this present administration were the people that kicked against it coming up on board initially? For example, Daniel Buala that he talked about, 2023. He gave a critical analysis, even to the point of talking about, even if we give the present administration or the present president 30 years, that he's not going to move Nigeria to anywhere. Then what really changed at this point in time?
Nothing changed, though, except that his means of livelihood. He left the UK where he was, and now he's looking for succor in APC. So it did not surprise me when people like that start talking and running their mouth here and there. You know, Daniel Buala has 3 mouths, and he speaks them at will. Tomorrow now, don't be surprised, this man may find himself in another party, and he will start telling you all the bad things he saw in APC. So are these the people you should be listening and quoting? It's even the press that are giving him credence. If not, people like that should be ignored, because they are the ones deceiving Tinubu, telling him that he's doing so well. Meanwhile, Tinubu himself has accepted that he has failed. He has failed. That's why he keeps begging Nigerians. I know there's hardship. I know it is this. I know it's that. But it will soon be over. And he didn't tell us how soon it will be over. So all those things that Tinubu is saying concerning his administration, is it not enough to tell anybody that he has failed? Yet, some sycophants and gullible supporters are telling you, look, if I were them, they had better allow Pat Utomi and his shadow government so that they can learn from them. Because that's what it is. The man said he's coming to bring, you know, alternative to all the mistakes they are making. Instead of you to say, okay, let's go ahead, let's see whether we can get something from there. That they are telling you is not in our constitution. So this one they are doing like a state of emergency, that they put a sole administrator in a democracy. Is it in our status books? The corruption that is bedeviling this administration, is it in our status books? All the nepotism in the administration, is it part of our status books?
Why is it that Nigerians are taking it, you know, likely, if I'm to use that word, because Senator Kingigbe accused Nigerians of becoming so docile and complacent?
No.
So if you think those things are not there in our constitution or in our status books, then why is it that Nigerians are just watching with their hands folded?
But it is said that silence is the best answer to a fool. The same Bible now says, look, it's better you answer a fool, lest he think he's wise. Now, Buala, whether you like it or not, things are bad. I ask you again, Buala, is your life better today than it was when PDP was in office? All those things he mentioned that Tinubu have achieved, I just took time to puncture some of them in our morning paper review. He said that the governors are getting more money now and all that. Where are they getting the money? Is it not from subsidy they claim they removed, which they are later now paying the same subsidy? So the money the governors are getting are borrowed money, and they are using it to silence them, to make them buy into Tinubu's bad policies. Nothing else. Nothing else. If the governors are doing so well, then what about the president himself? Because charity should begin at home. If the president is doing so well at the center, the governors will follow suit and do well. You know, so telling us that governors are getting money, the money they are getting, is it their money? Is it not taxpayers' money?
Now that Nigerians have been accused of becoming so complacent, Barrister Darlington, what do you think Nigerians should do? How do you think we should redeem our faith or redeem our own faces, as the case may be now? Because, you know, yesterday, one honorable white talking blamed Nigerians, you know, about all the happenings in the nation. He even blamed Nigerians over aiding corruption and all that. So now how do you think Nigeria is going to redeem its face as a great nation? Because the people are the ones now that make up the nation, not just elected few that will put in office.
Necessity is the mother of invention. Now that they are calling you deaf, dumb, and whatever, wait for them in 2027 during the election and tell them that you are not deaf and you are not dumb. It's as simple as that. Tell them that, look, so because we allow you people to be doing what you are doing, that's why you think we are dumb and deaf, Abi. No, we are not deaf and dumb. We know what we are doing, and we are going to tell you that we know what we are doing. So go out there, use your vote, and teach them a lesson. That's the only way out.
Thank you so much, Barrister Darlington Agumo, for your line of thought. I love the fact that you ended it with active participation during the elections, which will also come up very soon, okay? Thank you. We'll be speaking with Barrister Darlington Agumo, VOP TV in-house political analyst, and this is the Media News on Voice of the People Television. More stories after the break. Still the Media News on Voice of the People Television. The Petroleum Products Retail Owners Association of Nigeria has hailed the federal government's decision to ban the importation of foreign goods produced locally. National President of Petron, Billy Gillis Harry, while commending government's effort to strengthen the domestic economy and promote local content, called for careful implementation to avoid unintended consequences. He emphasized the need for careful consideration and implementation to avoid unintended consequences. Gillis Harry urged the government to ensure that the policy does not lead to shortages or price increases, particularly in the petroleum sector, where local refining capacity is still being developed. He advised that essential and sensitive products such as petroleum products, pharmaceuticals, and other highly consumable goods should be gradually phased out. Moving on, Delta State Governor Sheriff Oborowori has met with President Bola Tinubu in the presidential villa in Abuja. This is his first official visit to the president since his recent defection to the All Progressives Congress. Before his defection, Oborowori, a former Speaker of the Delta State House of Assembly, was a key figure in the opposition's People's Democratic Party. He made headlines on April 23 when he led a dramatic political shift in the state. Alongside his predecessor, former PDP vice presidential candidate Ifeanyi Okowa and Deputy Governor Monday Onyeme, Oborowori formally joined the APC after a meeting held in Asaba. Also, members of the governor's cabinet, a local government chairman, dumped the PDP, thus making Oborowori the fourth sitting Delta State governor to exit the PDP since the return to democracy in 1999. The Speaker of the Delta State House of Assembly, Emomotimi Gowo, also crossed over to APC, along with 21 members of the House. His defection to the ruling party comes months after speculations that he would join the APC. In the meantime, Governor Abdullahi Sule of Nasarawa State has claimed that the defection of politicians from other parties to the All Progressives Congress is a reflection of the performance of the party and that of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Sule made the claim while addressing State House correspondents after a meeting with the president at the presidential villa Abuja. He dismissed fear that the country was heading towards a one-party state, saying that APC just wants to be the dominant party in the country. Meanwhile, a Nigerian innovator, Utomi has developed the world's smallest global positioning system tracking device prototype, measuring 22.93 times 11.92 millimeters. Onilola, a researcher and innovator at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology in the U.S., set a new Guinness World Record with the smallest GPS tracker, which is believed to have endless possibilities for use in various industries and spheres of life. In a statement, President Bola Tinubu congratulated Onilola on the significant milestone, saying that the innovation is not just a personal achievement, but a national pride. The national leader emphasized the importance of nurturing such talent, adding that young inventors' success stories should inspire the creation of an enabling environment for creativity to thrive. You're still watching the Media News and Voice of the People television. Up next is business, sports and entertainment stories. The world to stay with us. Welcome back. Now to the business segment of the Midday News. The Nigerian Naira has continued its free fall against the dollars for the second consecutive time at the official foreign exchange market. The Central Bank of Nigeria's exchange data showed that the Naira dropped further to 1,606 Naira 64 kobo per dollar on Tuesday from 1,605 Naira 62 kobo exchanged on Monday. This means that the Naira depreciated marginally by 1 Naira 2 kobo on a day-to-day basis compared to 1,605 Naira 62 kobo on Monday. Still in business, the Nigerian stock market continued on a bullish trend with a gain of 1.045 trillion Naira on the Nigerian Exchange Limited. Market capitalization rose by 1.05 trillion Naira or 1.56% to close at 68.105 trillion Naira compared with 67.060 trillion Naira posted on Monday. Similarly, the all-share index climbed by 1,662.60 points or 1.56% to settle at 108,361.10 from 106,698.50 Naira earlier recorded. In sports, Flying Eagle head coach Aliyu Zubairu has warned his players not to underrate the rising stars of Kenya in their final group game at the 2025 Africa Under-20 Cup of Nations. Nigeria will today take on Salim Babao's side in a Group B encounter at the June 30 Air Defense Stadium in Cairo. The Flying Eagles recorded a win and draw from their opening two fixtures. The game will kick off at 4 p.m. Nigerian time. Elsewhere in sports, David Fratesi fired Inter Milan into a Champions League final with an extra-time winner, which gave the Italians a stunning 4-3 win over Barcelona 7-6 on aggregate. Italy midfielder Fratesi won a tie for the ages under a downpour in Milan when he scored in the 99th minute, sending a packed and rocking San Siro wild with joy. Simone Inzaghi's team will face either Arsenal or Paris Saint-Germain at the end of this month in Monchin, where they will field they have a great chance to be crowned kings of Europe for a fourth time after coming out of top in an epic contest. In the world of entertainment, a Nollywood actress and filmmaker Iyabo Ojo has confirmed she was invited for questioning by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC) following viral videos from her daughter Priska Ojo's lavish wedding, where guests were seen spraying naira and foreign currencies. In an Instagram post, Ojo addressed the widespread media reports and public speculation about her encounter with the anti-graft agency. The 47-year-old actress revealed that she received the EFCC invitation while she was in the United Kingdom, and upon her return to Nigeria, she honored the invitation on May 5, 2025. The actress stated that officials showed her videos from her daughter's wedding, where guests, including friends and colleagues, were seen spraying naira and foreign currencies. Iyabo just stated that she was allowed to leave the same day, while her lawyer stood in for her in case she is called upon again. Still in entertainment, Ori, The Rebirth, grossed 97.8 million naira during its opening weekend, making it one of the most successful debuts for a locally produced movie this year. Produced and directed by veteran Nollywood actor and filmmaker Muyiwa Ademola, alongside Adekola Tijani and Tope Adebayo Salami, the film officially opened in cinema on May 1, 2025. It garnered 19.5 million naira on its first day alone. Ori, The Rebirth, explores themes of destiny, spirituality, and sacrifice. That is it on the Media News on Voice of the People TV. But before we go, another look at the headlines. FG kicks as part Utomi forms shadow government. NAPS issues now fund 5-day ultimatum over loan details. SEC warns against new Ponzi scheme, P1. Board links Wigwe's helicopter crash to pilot disorientation, company's negligence. Senate condemns Edomop killings. Lagos Assembly urges security agencies to tackle road miscreants. In business, we told you that Naira continues free fall against the dollar. In sports, Coach Zubero wants Flying Eagles not to underrate Kenya. And in the world of entertainment, Iyabo Ojo confirms EFCC interrogation after daughter's wedding. And this is the news as was aligned and edited by Azuka Onwuzo for Voice of the People TV. Do well to subscribe to our YouTube channel. On YouTube, we are at Voice of the People TV, and on all other social media platforms, we are at VOP TV Live. Visit our website, www.vop.ng, for fresh and trending news. Up on our radar is the Spotlight Show with Masinachi Okafor. I am Fina Okechukwu. Good afternoon.